Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Lion and Liverbird podcast. This is Rohit calling in from Austin, Texas, and I have with me Adeem calling in from Kolkata.
Hey guys,
Uh,
what's up?
so this episode is going to be, focused on the upcoming Euro 2024, essentially, which is starting off next Friday, less than a week's time. This summer is actually very busy. You have the Euros going on. We also have the Copa America happening, the Olympics happening. Add to that all of the transfer speculations in the transfer window. It's going to be an exciting summer, and we wanted to look at the Euro and talk about the various teams and analyze some of the favorites and kind of think of who is going to be the best team. We'll also look at some players to watch out for, especially for Liverpool and Chelsea, because both the teams will be in the transfer market, and whether there are any interesting players out there, we'll be keeping an eye on. Just to kick things off, Adeem, who do you think is the favorite for this Euro?
I was gonna say France,
Uh-huh.
because I think they have some crazy firepower up front.
Mhm.
But surprisingly, the bookies are not making France the favorites.
Oh, that's interesting.
And yeah, so I was just reading up on it, and they actually have England as the
Ah,
favorites.
well,
England as the favorites for an international tournament. I mean, I
I
I
don't
never
know.
thought I would hear something like this in my lifetime. But I see why and where they're coming from, because the amount of talent that England has
Mhm.
is scary. We'll obviously go deeper into the England team and what they could do and what they can't do. But right off the bat, right, you've got Bukayo Saka, you've got Cole Palmer, you've got Harry Kane, you've got Jude Bellingham, who
True.
seems to hit the ground running wherever he goes. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
England
it's
is in pretty
weird.
bad form though. They lost to Iceland
I
yesterday.
was, yeah, I was gonna say that.
Pretty crappish
Apparently,
performance.
a lot of the players dropped stinkers, like
Yeah,
terrible performances,
yeah.
which again, this was something that we spoke about a few episodes earlier also, the mindset that you need to have for international tournaments.
Hmm.
Gareth Southgate, he just somehow scrapes through, gets the wins, and he keeps on progressing to the next round. So, the one thing I like about the Euros is that a lot of time it's a very open tournament. I think the last tournament was
Yeah.
pretty fun.
Hmm.
Uh, and even previous tournaments, I think one of the greatest memories of football I have is from Euro 2004. I'm sure
Hmm.
you remember that also. Greece
Yes.
winning the Euro with an
Yes.
unfancied team.
Yes, I
Angelo
remember that.
Saresteas with that
Yeah.
header.
Yeah.
It was against Portugal, I believe, the final. And it was in
Yes.
Portugal also, right?
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
was it
Yeah.
in Greece? I can't remember. But yeah, so it was crazy. And then you had Spain dominating the World Cup and the Euros. You've had Germany win it. You've seen Italy win it. So Euros always seem to be, they have some surprises. We had Wales doing very well recently also. So it's going to be a fun tournament, especially with this expanded format where you have more teams playing,
Yes.
more
Yeah.
teams qualify for the knockouts, and obviously when it comes to knockouts, anything can happen in a knockout game.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I was saying, England are the favorites. Somehow
Yeah.
France
Let's
comes
talk
second.
about the England team then. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the England team. I think the first thing I want to talk about is the omissions, right? Some pretty big names were omitted from the team by Gareth Southgate. I think one of the biggest being Marcus Rashford, then Jack Grealish. None of these guys made the cut, which
So
is kind of interesting.
Rashford,
Yeah,
would you consider him as a big like omission? Because club wise, I don't think he lit up the Premier League as he might have
no,
been
agreed.
previously. Now, obviously, there is also a bit of a problem with Manchester United as a whole.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, the way they play under Ten Hag, you don't see a lot of people shining through. Sure, they won the FA Cup, but he wasn't consistent enough. And
true.
Jack Grealish is, I would say, a big omission simply because he was playing for City. He helped them win so many trophies. But then you look at what he has done at City. I really don't remember any great. Has he done anything at City where you're like, oh my
Not
God,
much. Yeah, he's had
that's
a pretty bad
incredible?
season actually. Yeah, you're right. Both
But
of them
again,
have had in
but
different
even that
seasons.
could be down to Pep, right? Like he has this, I need to
Yeah,
control the thing, and he can't have the X factor. The only
yeah,
X factor I see at City is Jeremy Doku
yeah, yeah,
and maybe Bernardo Silva,
yeah, yeah.
where like you can see them doing individual, the samba magic we used to call it and all. So
Yeah,
I really
you
don't.
have a fair point. You have a fair point. Yeah, when those omissions were announced, I was a little surprised because I think Rashford and Grealish. Both of them have been an integral part of the team for the longest time. But it seems like Southgate has kind of moved towards a more younger kind of core this time. Obviously, Raheem Sterling has been out of the fold for England for the past year. There was no question of him being included, but so essentially Southgate has opted for young attackers like Anthony Gordon and Eberechi Eze of Crystal Palace for over these guys. What do you think about those? Because I think he has picked some talented players, but they are probably inexperienced and unproven at the biggest stage. Would that be fair to say?
So it's interesting regarding the team that he has picked when he has youngsters like, as you said, Eze, and we've also, I think, Mainu is also there, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Mainu versus Curtis Jones. We'll come to that.
Yeah. So the thing is that what I believe is whenever these international tournaments take place, you need to carry the players who are in the best form.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what has happened in the past, maybe 9, 12 months, in the last 3 months, maybe 4 months, whatever they have done, that's who you take forward.
Mhm.
We've seen previously teams go with the big names just because they are big names, and it doesn't really work out. When you have a Mainu playing there, you have Eze, you've got Cole Palmer. These are guys who are in the best form. They know what they're doing.
True.
And they obviously want to make a mark for England. Like they're going to the first Euros, I believe. They want to show what they're capable of doing. And it's not like England are just going with a completely young squad. They do have a lot of experience in the
They do.
team. It's Harry Kane, obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got a leader there. The defense also has a lot of people who have played a lot of games. Jordan Pickford, I believe, is the number one keeper.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of experience. So I think you have to hit the right balance of experience and youth. And I think England have achieved it for once with Gareth Southgate.
Yes, I have
Obviously,
to
this
admit.
Iceland result could be just a random thing that happens. It happens in football. But I think he's picked a pretty good squad, and I really don't have any issues with them dropping the likes of Rashford or any of the other big names as we've said.
Agreed, agreed. I think we agree on that. I think he's picked a very exciting young squad. But I think the only area of concern for England is kind of defense right now because they don't really have a natural left back. Luke Shaw is in the squad, but he's been injured. He hasn't
Mhm.
played for the longest time. He's supposed to play later on in the tournament, but we'll see what happens. And so you have Kieran Trippier, right-sided, player playing as left back. That's what happened against Iceland, and you could see, there wasn't much attacking impetus from that side because of that. And then Harry Maguire, much maligned Harry Maguire, he's not in the squad because he's injured. So there's a
Mhm.
little bit of inexperience at the center of the park. I know John Stones is there, but probably Mark Gahey of Crystal Palace is going to start there. So I don't know. I think the defense might be of concern.
So with the defense, there could be a few concerns, but again, we've gone with people who are in the best of them. I think Kyle Walker is a bit of a question mark because he hasn't
Yeah.
had the best of seasons.
Yep. He
So
makes
that
big mistakes.
he makes big mistakes. He doesn't get slaughtered on social media because I
Mhm.
think he's with City and he has a lot of pace and
Yeah.
whatever. But he has not had a good season. So
Yep.
with the left back issue, right, it could be Joe Gomez who plays there.
Yeah.
He's done
That's
that for
interesting.
Liverpool a lot.
I think he
Uh,
should.
he should. And he had like his best performances came for us as a left back this season,
Mhm.
surprisingly, although he's a right footed player. So, and there will always be some issues with any team that you put forward. Obviously, this time we're picking out the defense. Lewis Dunk is actually a pretty good name to have there. I
Mhm.
think they'll be all right because the group that they're in isn't the most difficult. I think it's a pretty
Yes.
easy group if you look at it. So they
Yeah,
should actually.
Serbia, Denmark, and Slovenia. But Denmark were
Denmark,
last
yeah,
time's semi-finalists. I was just looking
semi-finalists,
up.
correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, Denmark could be a problem, but again, that could have been 4 years back or whatever. But
Uh-huh.
Liverpool, sorry, I was going to say Liverpool. I was saying England should easily make it out of the group, and obviously, if they make it out of the group unscathed, like without losses or without
Uh-huh.
any injuries,
Uh-huh.
there'll be more confidence growing,
Yep.
and that again plays a role in all this. I'm surprised that he's named Trent and midfield, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, I don't know how Southgate is going to put him in there. I think Trent's going to be on the bench because I don't see him being used as a right back. Uh, I don't think he'll start in midfield also. So there are some questions that Southgate will have to look into, especially with.
Definitely.
I mean, there's so much crazy talent in this team.
Yeah, I
You've
think
got
Trent needs to be there in the starting lineup though, because I mean he has that X factor in creating, and nobody really has the passing range that he does, and you need him to be on the pitch to break down some of these teams who will sit back and defend. So I think maybe having Joe Gomez as a defensive left back, and then maybe having Trent Alexander-Arnold as a attacking right back or in midfield, that might work. But I think he definitely needs to start.
so I think it's interesting. We'll have to see how they set up because with Trent, there's always this issue of if he plays as a right back, there's always
Mhm.
questions about his defense
Yeah.
or defensive work. He's not played in midfield regularly.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you can maybe get an easy game against one or two of the teams in the group stage, but once you go to the knockout stages, he could be caught out. So
Agreed.
he has the talent to play there. Obviously, I'm just saying that he doesn't have the experience of playing there regularly.
True. True.
That's
True.
my only concern then. And then when you look at the attack of England, right? I mean, it picks itself, but then you look at the options that they have, and it's insane.
Yeah.
So obviously, Phil Foden will start.
Phil
Cole
Foden,
Palmer,
Saka, and Kane probably. Cole Palmer
yeah,
might not get in initially.
but that's incredible because I think Cole Palmer was one of the shining lights of the
Yeah.
Premier League season, right?
Agreed. Agreed.
Ollie Watkins can't get a start for England,
Yeah.
and
Ollie,
I think
what?
he was incredible
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Anthony Gordon has become a great player for Newcastle
Yeah.
now. He's become more experienced after the Everton, after moving from Everton.
Mhm.
So, what I like about this England side is that there are so many options to turn the game around, to change the game,
Yeah.
even from
Bellingham.
midfield. Yeah,
Bellingham
Bellingham,
is going to be
exactly.
very critical. Yeah.
So, I like this England team a lot. I'm surprised, positively surprised actually, with some of the names that he's taken or he's
Mhm.
brought into the team. It's again a good mix of young and old. Uh, Maybe I understand why the bookies have them as favorites because I think they were runners up in the last
Yes.
tournament. Yeah, they were
They
runners up
lost out
there.
in penalties to Italy.
They lost to Italy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's big. I think they did well in the World Cup also. Not this World Cup, the World Cup prior to that, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So let's see. England, maybe. Maybe. I mean, it would be huge if they win an international trophy.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. Quick word on Curtis Jones getting dropped, and young players like Kobe Minu and even Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace being picked.
So again, it comes down to form, right?
Hmm.
Curtis Jones has been injured a lot this season, on and off, on and off. He wasn't in the best of form during the closing stage of the season. He was decent in some games and
Hmm.
not. So I think that's one reason why he wasn't picked. The other is obviously the media played a bit of a role, I would say, in Mino getting in.
Hmm.
Uh, Again, he's done good. I mean, he's done very well. We saw in the FA Cup final how good he was.
Yeah, he's
I think
really good.
against us also he did really well. And Wharton, I'm happy with Wharton getting a chance because he was a good player for Palace.
Yeah, he's really good.
What we've seen is that players from the relatively smaller sides they don't get picked.
Hmm.
But this time around, Southgate has taken them,
Yeah, there are
so it's
four
good for
players from
them.
Crystal Palace, which is pretty
Yeah,
pretty cool.
and all of them are there deservedly. They
Absolutely,
all are good.
absolutely,
So you
absolutely.
can't question that. And it's good. And now it actually sends a message to other players that it doesn't matter. You don't have to play for a top six club. You
Agreed.
do well with your club and you will get a chance to play for England. I think
Agreed.
that's the bottom line. I think most nations do that. It's just with England, we have this whole, they should be playing for a top six or a top four side, and then they are guaranteed to be in the. No, you can't guarantee anybody being in the national team unless you perform.
Agreed. 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 Okay, let's move on to who I think are the favorites. It's France, right?
Oh,
Because
ooh la
that's a
la.
team that's stacked. That's a team that's stacked from top to
Uh,
bottom. England obviously do have a lot of talented players, but I do see a few very clear kind of chinks in their armor, right? The defense being
yeah.
one. But when you look at the
Even the
France
keeper for
team,
England, right?
yeah,
Even
exactly.
that's a question mark.
Exactly. But when you look at the France squad, it's very, very hard to find any, weaknesses at all. They have a great goalkeeper, Mike Mannion from AC Milan. They have an amazing defense, right? I mean, who would you pick
Yeah.
in that defense, right? It's crazy. You have Konate, you have Upamecano, you have Kunde. William Saliba doesn't even get in the squad sometimes. He's been one of the best centre backs in the Premier League last couple of years. They've got a very good attacking left back, Hernandez, right?
Theo Hernandez, yeah.
Theo Hernandez. They have a pretty solid right back as well. Jules Koundé plays there sometimes. They also have Jonathan Klaus.
Yep.
So pretty stacked defense, pretty stacked midfield, and there's
But
a
their midfield is
yeah,
crazy
but
also.
I don't know if you noticed, an old name is back, N'Golo Kante,
So
who now
Kante,
plays
yeah.
for Al Ittihad. He's back in the team. You have Kante, you have Rabiot, you have Yusuf Fofana, who's a destructive player. You have Zaire Emery from PSG. This team
Yep.
is just crazy. I really don't know how you would defeat them.
We
Uh,
haven't even spoken about their attack.
Attack, yeah, attack. You kind of you let that go, right? The attack
Yeah.
again, obviously, is stacked. The arguably, the most potent attack out there. Of course, you have the best player in the world, maybe the second best player in the world. I don't know. Kylian Mbappe. You have Ousmane Dembele. You have Randal Kolo Muani. You also have Marcus Thuram, who's basically taken Olivier Giroud's kind of big center forward role. So yeah, I really don't see any weaknesses there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this team, uh, there really isn't much. So as I was saying, when the bookies were making the favorites, right, England
Uh-huh.
were like 19.9% favorites to win,
Uh-huh.
and France were 19.1%.
Okay.
So it's not that big of a difference. And if you look at the squad, right, I mean, you really can't pick out any holes or any issues.
Hey, I forgot to
And
mention Kamavinga and Chouameni in midfield. I'm like, what is going on?
it's insane as to what all they have,
It's
right?
pretty
And
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, so France has a lot of things that are going for them, right? I mean, they have a very easy group also,
Yeah. Yeah.
decentish. They do have Holland in there, I believe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yes. Yeah.
it's Poland, Holland, Austria, and France.
Mm-hmm.
So they should still qualify without any problems. Uh, the thing is that there could be a really interesting match in the semis. So if the stars align, you could have a England France semi-final, which
Just like the
could
World
be
Cup.
yeah, yeah, just it could be insane,
Yeah.
especially given all the attacking talent that we have.
Yep.
And there's one more really important thing that Didier Deschamps could create some history. He could be the first person to win the Euros and the World Cup as a player and a manager.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that are riding on France. So I really can't see any issues with France. Uh, Maybe injuries could be an issue. I don't know. Because Forlan Mendy is somebody who has been injured previously. Uh, Upamecano has had his issues. And we know Ibrahim Konate does have injury issues. And if, the defense gets unlucky and a lot of injuries take place, then there could be problems. But if you look at the midfield and the attack, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of teams that will be able to keep a clean sheet, let alone maybe
No.
not concede
Yeah.
2 goals against them.
And they have so
It's
many ways to
insane.
hurt you as well, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
pretty
And
crazy.
Griezmann is a player that we didn't speak
Yeah,
about,
we
Antoine
didn't
Griezmann.
talk about Antoine
Yeah,
Griezmann.
he is incredible in international tournaments. He
Yeah,
just comes alive. So he's
amazing. Yeah.
had his troubles at Barca. He's overcome them. He's now at Atletico again. And he's back to his best. He knows what to do. He plays in this crazy position for France where he doesn't have a
Mhm,
fixed position. And he's gonna do something in the game. So it's incredible as to the talent that even France have.
mhm,
So
mhm.
it's gonna be a very exciting. Like if you want to have fun, you should watch France's matches. It's as
Agreed.
simple as that.
Agreed.
They will score goals. They might concede a few, but it's gonna be fun for them.
Yeah, I think their youth setup has really done wonders to
Mm.
have such a plethora of talent available. That's truly
Yeah,
amazing.
so that's something that we'll talk about at the end of this
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the next team. I think for me at least, the third favorite is Portugal. I don't know what you feel about that.
Wow, you put Portugal there.
What do you think?
I was actually gonna go with Germany as third favorites because it's the
Okay.
host nation.
Okay, yeah, that's a
So,
good point. They are hosting. Let's talk about Portugal, then we'll talk
yeah.
about Germany. So why I think Portugal is third in my opinion is again they have a very balanced squad, right? They have a pretty good goalkeeper. They have a pretty good back line, right? They have Ruben Diaz of Man City. They have a couple of very young defenders as well. They have Nuno Mendes, left back. They have Joao Cancelo, Diego Dallo on the right
They've
back
got
position.
Pepe.
Yeah,
Who else do
they
you
still
need? They've
have
got Pepe.
Pepe. They still have
Yeah.
Pepe, which is
And
amazing.
Pepe's had a very good season with Porto.
Yeah,
He's not there just to make up the numbers.
yeah.
He's actually a pretty important clog in the system.
Yeah. And I think their midfield is also pretty well balanced, right? Because they have like a destructive defensive midfielder like Joao Palhinha of
Yeah.
Fulham. And then they have creative players around him like Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, and so on and so
Vitinha.
forth. Yeah, and Vitinha, exactly. He's had a really great season with PSG. And then up front, they are very dangerous. They have Rafael Leao. They obviously have our CR7 Cristiano Ronaldo still chugging along. I'm pretty sure he'll get some game time and score some goals. But it's also, they also got Diego Jota. They've got Pedro Neto. They've got Goncalo
Rafael
Ramos.
Leao.
Yeah,
Rafael
Rafael Leao.
Leao.
So a lot of options and not too many holes in that squad.
I'm still not convinced with that defense. I know
Uh-huh.
Ruben Diaz is good, but if you're looking at Wow Cancelo and Diego Dallo as
Mm-hmm.
the two fullbacks,
Mm-hmm.
I think they are susceptible against good teams. I don't
Got
think
it.
Joao Cancelo is as good as he used to be, and Diego Dallo also isn't as good as maybe people make out.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a doubt with the midfield, right? I mean, they've got a couple of players who are playing in the Saudi league, is it? Otavio and Ruben Neves. I haven't followed those
I don't
leagues
think they'll get a game
extensively.
time. I think it's probably going to
Yeah.
be, Paulinha, Vitinha, and maybe Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah,
That's
so
what it's going to
that's
be.
that's my issue. Is like the squad depth doesn't seem to be as good
Mm-hmm.
as
Agreed.
England and Francis. I think that's why they're the third or fourth favorite. So
Agreed.
rightfully
Agreed.
so.
Agreed.
Their attack obviously is incredible. I mean, even
Yeah.
if you forget about Cristiano Ronaldo,
Mm-hmm.
again, who had a okayish season with Al Nassr, the options that they have and the sheer versatility that their bench has. Like they've got Wow Felix. We haven't even
Yeah.
spoken
Sure.
about him.
Yeah.
Neto plays in a certain way. Leao plays in a certain way. Diego Jota plays like I think, is the best finisher Liverpool have,
Yeah. I
at
think,
least.
yeah, he should be starting Jota.
Yeah. And then Bernardo Silva is the X factor for them, I
Yep.
think, more than
Yep.
Ronaldo because he is incredible. I hate to
Agreed.
admit that for a Manchester City player, but this guy is brilliant. He can do things on the wing, in the midfield. He can play as a forward. So yeah, I do think Portugal have a decent side. I just don't think it's enough to maybe win the Euros. And who knows? This could be Ronaldo's final uh, like set of appearances for Portugal.
Possible. He's still the
Yeah.
captain. Yeah.
Uh, will he play in another 2 years? I don't know. Does he want to win the World Cup and one up Messi?
God knows.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't think he's going to be starting too many matches though. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay,
He
let's.
could be the
Yeah,
one
go
who
ahead.
manages them, man. He might be managing Portugal.
Well, they have a manager who, is not my favorite. He essentially was managing the Belgium side, right? And then, they didn't do too well with their golden generation, Roberto Martinez. But yeah, anyways,
Wow. So
let's.
yeah, that means Ronaldo is managing Portugal. Martinez isn't doing anything.
Okay, from Portugal and Ronaldo and Martinez, let's move on to who you think is actually the third
Yeah.
favorite, which is Germany and their manager Julian Nagelsmann. Do you want to run us through the team?
Yeah. So I was going through the German side. Now, one reason why I have Germany up there as a potential champion is obviously playing at home. They'll be pushed on by the crowd. They have an okay-ish group. It's not the easiest. They've got Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland, but they still should make it out. Now, if you look at the team, right, it's filled with talent as usual with all the top sides. So the goalkeeper is going to be Manuel Neuer, who
Yeah,
is possibly the best goalkeeper we've had in the past decade. The defense is also pretty good. You've got obviously the big names like Joshua Kimmich
Rudiger.
and Antonio Rudiger. Then they've got players who've actually done well this season also. So this is one thing I like about Germany is that they don't just pick out players from the biggest teams,
Hmm.
but actually players who have done well. So they took Nico Schlotterbeck from Dortmund. They've got Jonathan Tah from Leverkusen, but obviously Leverkusen won the league title. They've got Robin Koch from Frankfurt. And they've also got Waldemar Antoine from Stuttgart,
Mhm.
Benjamin Henriques from Leipzig. Their midfield is also pretty good. They've got obviously the big
Yes.
names. You've got Ilkay Gundogan, who is exceptional. You've got Tony Cruz, who announced that he's retiring from football, I believe, at the end of this tournament.
Yes.
Uh, they've got again young players also that are doing
Think
well, like
Jamal
Jamal
Musiala and then
Musiala
Florian
and Florian
Wirtz.
Wirtz. Yep,
Those two,
yep.
I'm very excited about seeing those two guys play
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
They're
Working in
like
tandem,
supremely
it's gonna
talented.
be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only issue that I do have with this German side is the attack. You've got
Kai Havertz to the rescue.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a very strange lineup. So you've got Dennis Undav, you've
Uh-huh.
got Maximilian Bayer, you've got Nicholas Fulker. Fulker had a decent season, I believe, and then you've got Thomas Muller and Kai Havertz.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the goals will be coming from the midfield because you've got
Mm-hmm.
Sani, you've got Wirtz, and you've got Musiala there.
Yeah.
I really don't think the attack is going to do much. But then again, you know how good Germany normally are in international tournaments, but you
But
can't
they
say
have been
that.
pretty
Yeah, yeah,
poor
I
in
was
the
just going to
last
get to
two
that.
or three international
Yeah, I
tournaments,
was
though.
going to that. So they've been terrible in the last three
Yeah.
international tournaments. Like,
Mm.
I think the last two World Cups, they were kicked out on the group stage, and in the
Yeah.
Euros, they were kicked out in the round of 16.
Mhm.
So it's it's weird as to how the German project has crumbled
It has.
before our eyes. Because in 2014, I think they won the World Cup, and
Yeah, they
everyone is
seemed
like,
pretty invincible at that point of time.
yeah, yeah, and the team was brilliant. They had Joachim Low, and all of the things were working, clicking. They spoke about how they imbibe this the policy of how to play football with the German side, right, from all of their youth teams and clubs and etc. And you see it's working out, and then it hasn't worked out on the grand stage
Yeah.
since that. You've
Yeah.
seen teams go through cycles, obviously, but this German thing is a little weird one. So, I mean, we need to see what's going to happen because there's also another thing that's not working for them is that no host country has won the Euros since France,
Oh,
which is like
wow.
I think 40 years back or something.
Wow. That's interesting. Huh. I would
Yeah.
have thought the
So
opposite. I didn't know that.
yeah, so this is going to be a little difficult for them, but
Okay.
yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I think their defense still, might have a few holes. Let's see how they perform. Okay, so let's quickly run through, some of the other teams who are in the fray. I don't think we have time to go in depth. But the other teams that
Yeah.
might do well this time around are Spain, Italy, and Netherlands, the usual suspects, which complete the top teams. Any particular players you're excited about in Spain, Netherlands? I know Liverpool has quite a few Dutch players.
Yeah, I was gonna bring out the Dutch squad. So obviously you've got VVD,
Mhm.
you've got Gravenberch, you've got Cody Gakpo.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of names that we need to keep out for the Dutch side. They've got a
Mhm.
lot of talent from the Eredivisie that people are interested in.
Uh-huh.
Uh, they've got Gertrude, they've got I think Koopmeiners who plays for Atalanta. He's going to
Yeah.
be good.
Xavi Simons
So
has had a good season with
Xavi
Leipzig.
Simons has had a good season. So it could be a year when the Dutch side maybe finally live
Yeah.
up to their expectations and pick up a trophy. I think we also have to bring up Belgium.
Yeah.
So Belgium have been the talk of the town because of their Tintin inspired jersey,
Oh,
and everyone's like, yeah, everyone's been hip. So it's just a blue T-shirt with brown shorts. I don't know why people are going crazy about it, but yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
Tintin, yeah, it was a big part of all our childhood. Yeah, I understand.
No, no, I get that, but it's nothing like it's not like they're all wearing they're all carrying orange hair and stuff like that. So I know it's a hipster thing, but we've spoken about this Belgian golden generation for so
Yeah, that
many
it's kind of gone
years.
past them, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you look at the side now,
Mhm.
it's funny because the side still carries a lot of the golden generation that we speak about, right?
Yeah.
You've still got Jan Vertonghen there, which is
He should
insane.
not be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I was just checking out maybe Toby Alderweireld is there, but he's not there.
No, Axel
Thankfully.
Witsel is there. Kevin
Actually,
De
Thomas Munier is
Bruyne,
still there.
yeah, and
You've
Lukaku,
still got Lukaku,
yeah,
yeah. You've got Yannick Carrasco who's playing for Al Shabab.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
Yeah, I especially was a Belgium fan back in the day because of Eden
Mhm.
Hazard, and I'm very disappointed in how that particular generation was not able to, win anything
That was
major.
down to Mancini. Not Mancini,
Yeah.
sorry, Martinez. Martinez.
Martinez, and there were a lot of like behind the scenes stuff happening in the squad with Thibaut Courtois not getting along, with Kevin De Bruyne because of off field stuff and all of that. So there was clearly other things they were not really playing together. Anyways, let's move on to maybe Spain and Italy real quick. I think Spain, I don't know, they have a meh squad now. Do you think they stand a chance?
Spain. So Spain are also one of the favorites, actually.
Uh,
It's not that bad. Yeah, yeah. I
this
mean,
seems like as accurate as the Indian exit polls, whatever you're referring to.
so they're not like England and
Yeah.
France, but
Uh-huh.
they come fourth or fifth, right?
Uh-huh.
Spain was
They have some
either
decent players. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have some decent players. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do. But my biggest concern is their goalkeeping thing because they've got Unai Simon, Alex Remiro, and David Raya.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
but then again, they also have a lot of experience there. You've got the likes of Dani Carvajal. Jesus Navas is still in the team. Aymeric
Yes.
Laporte,
Wow.
Nacho.
Yeah.
Uh, but they do also have some interesting choices, I would say. They've got Mark Cucurella in there
Oh my
somehow.
God. He's
Yeah. But again, it's a good mix of young and old. They've got Pedri, they've got Rodri, they've got
yes.
Fabian Ruiz, they've
I
got
like Nico Williams quite a bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Atletico Bilbao, very direct, skillful forward. Yeah.
They've got a very interesting name also in the forward lineups. Jose Perez is back in the Spanish side.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah. So you would have thought that his career is
Yeah.
over after his Leicester stint, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Out
he's
of the
there. They've
blue.
got there is this youngster that everybody has been watching and is keen to see how he does in the Euros.
Alvaro Morata? No.
Lamine
No.
Yamal.
Oh yeah,
Alvaro
Lamine
Morata.
Yamal. Yeah, Lamine Yamal is
Alvaro
really good.
Morata is a Ponzi scheme or a money laundering scheme because he has only moved from Atletico Madrid to Juventus and Real Madrid. That's a
And
triangle, man.
man,
Is
he
it
was there in
Chelsea?
Chelsea for, oh my
Yeah, yeah,
God.
yeah. So
He
I'm
flattered
sure
to
there's gonna be.
deceive, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he was like the top scorer or something for them. I'm not sure. What was the speed?
He's okay. He's okay. But
But
the problem is, he's not like a, number nine you win a
yeah,
tournament
yeah, yeah.
with.
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
he's not. He's not. The
Okay.
issue with Spain would be the fixtures that they have because in their group they've got Croatia, Italy, and Albania.
Oh yeah, that's the group of death, right? Yep,
So
yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna be a
There's no guarantees.
tough one. But I think even the third place team is supposed to progress, right? The top
Yeah,
four
but
third
not
place
all.
team.
Yeah, the top four, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Some weird thing.
yeah,
Let's
the
quickly
top
talk
four.
about Italy because they are the other kind of traditional big team. But they
They're
have
the
also
defending champions,
fallen
no?
off. Yeah, they're defending champions, but their Euro win was basically sandwiched between two failed World Cup qualifications, right? And
Yes.
it's unimaginable that Italy don't qualify to the World Cups, two times back to back, and their team kind of shows why it's fallen off quite a bit. What do you think?
So I'm not a big Italy fan, so I haven't followed them much this season, and I won't be able to say enough about them. But
I
it is
think
a little weird. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'm
Nicolo Barella is probably and maybe
yeah,
Federico
yeah.
Chiesa, a couple of names. That's it. They have some decent defenders, as always. But the team looks
Yeah, so I'm just looking
short.
at the team now, and there's nobody that really stands out. Obviously, this could be due to my lack of knowledge of Italian football, so I'll give that. But they've got Stefan El Sharawi still with them somehow.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yes, yes.
but
They
really,
have,
yeah, none of these names stand
yeah,
out. I
yeah.
mean,
None of these names stand out, and then don't really inspire too much
you've got Matteo
tournament
Darmian.
winning
Yeah,
confidence.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you never know because Italy, they could
Agreed.
just shut up shop,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
get the nil-nils, qualify for the next round, and then just keep on going, winning penalty shootouts, and who knows,
yeah.
they might be the champions.
Yep. Okay, I think we're kind of running out of time. A couple of things we want to discuss. Let's get into if you're looking forward to tracking some of these players with the transfer window in mind for Liverpool.
There's a lot of fine-art players that we'll be keeping an eye out for. There's
Uh-huh.
Ekran Koku, there's David Hanko.
Uh-huh.
I spoke about Cooper Myers and Gertruda. The thing is that we haven't been linked with too many names because there's some sort of crazy, like you don't get enough rumors from Liverpool nowadays that we
Mhm.
used to. So it's very difficult to be linked with names. But I think a lot of the Dutch talent and Feyenoord talent is who
Mhm.
we should keep an eye out for.
Got it, got it. I think there have been some rumors, about Benjamin Sesko, the
Mhm.
striker from Leipzig who plays for Slovenia. Apparently, Arsenal and Chelsea are both trying to sign him. Maybe he's going to be somebody interesting to look forward to. But at this point of time, the rumor mill is just going crazy. They just, whichever name comes up, they're saying Chelsea is going after them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think, yeah, it'll be exciting to see. There'll always be a couple of these wild card players who'll really do well, and their transfer value will go up. I'm really hoping Albania does well because
The striker.
yeah. We need to sell
Bora.
Armando Broya and make money because otherwise our
Yeah.
financial fair play rules might get in our way. So I'm hoping he does well, score some goals, and then get a chance somewhere else, not Chelsea. Okay, one of the things we wanted to quickly talk about was what it takes to win a tournament. In this day and age, international tournament. And I think, yeah, we probably don't have too much time, but last couple of times, right? Italy won it last time, and even Argentina winning the World Cup. One common theme is you've got to be good defensively, right? You've got to, play the kind of the Mourinho way, if you can call it that. And I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, that is one thing, obviously. And the other thing is what we've spoken about is picking the right names
Mhm.
and the right players. So obviously getting players who are in form makes a big thing. And the most important thing I believe is luck. uh, we saw what happened in the World Cup, like the last kick that France
True,
had.
true.
Uh, so you need a bit of luck to win any tournament, and I think that's gonna play a huge role in the Euros for sure.
Okay, okay. So, who do you think is going to win? Last thing.
Yeah, I think England will do really well, but
Okay, it's
we'll reach
France
the
for
final
me.
and lose. No, they'll reach the final and lose to France. No, they can't lose to France. So
No, they
France will
can't.
win. France will win. France will win. That's it.
Okay,
France will
cool,
win.
cool, cool. Okay, we'll end the podcast here as usual. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us. Have a good day, and then like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.
Bye bye.